The fact is, accusations of a massive pedophile ring have happened many times before. The Australian government had a massive pedophile scandal, and there was an expose done on it on 60 Minutes, which, to the best of my knowledge, never aired in the United States. Numerous researchers have discussed England's own supposed scandals, with the claims that many within the celebrity culture, including cultural icon and BBC legend Jimmy Savile, are involved in sex, slave, murder, and child trafficking, amongst other things. We have the Franklin cover-up in the States, which is another very interesting case, in which it was claimed that the entire institute of government and the media itself colluded on covering up a pedophile ring, going so far as to call the FBI the orchestrator and architect of the child trafficking ring. Former President Senator John DeCamp was involved in the production of a documentary called A Conspiracy of Silence, which you can watch on YouTube. It was set to air on May 3, 1994 on the Discovery Channel, exposing a network of religious leaders and Washington politicians who flew children to Washington, D.C. for sex orgies. But right before the show was to air, an unknown congressman threatened the TV cable industry with restrictive legislation if the documentary was aired, and thus it never saw the light of day. And last but not least, we have the Hampstead cover-up. The Hampstead case was the most gruesome indictment of this sort of thing I have ever witnessed, with direct accounts from children who were victims of satanic ritual abuse. These children claimed kidnapping, torture, blood rituals, sex, murder, and even cannibalism. The Hampstead cover-up and the implications of it are prime examples of how many different times a child trafficking pedophile ring, a satanically based sex slave ring, has been brought to light by the children affected directly by such madness. I want to include the following audio from the Hampstead case of one of the children who gave a testimony and police confession discussing these actions in her own words. I encourage you to go online and listen to the testimony from these children and the retractions that these children gave, and decide for yourself if you think that these children were lying. Out of respect, I have not included the child's name or face to the alleged victim. I just want to say this once again to reiterate. These children retracted their testimonies, and the claimed perpetrators were never charged with anything.
Who's they? Who's they?
The teachers, the parents, the staff.
Every single teacher or specific teachers?
No, every single. The whole school does it. The whole school, and we got our own church too. So because they do that, because after as I said, we kill babies, we drink their blood, we eat them. Okay. But then after so the social services who are in it, they go to families, So if the families can't afford, so they get a baby but they can't look after it or anything, they can't buy food, or they can't buy clothes, they can't look after it. So the families who sell their children, so the social services get them, they say they get them to a foster home, but they don't. Right, okay. So then because our dad, he forces me and to do it, but because we can't, we're not strong enough to cut the baby's head off, he does us to hold the knife, and he puts his hand at the top of our hand, and he helps us to cut the baby's head off, because he's learning, he's teaching me, and so when we're older, to do it to our own children and do this kind of stuff to our own children.
Where is it this that happens?
The church, the kitchen in our church.